Recorded not in ink, but in blood, the fall of a family began on the very day celebration echoed across the Azure Dragon School. In Cap Martial God Asura chapter 263-264, while honoured guests gathered under banners of promotion and whispered in awe of Chu Feng's unseen brilliance, far away in Black Tortoise City, a different kind of ceremony unfolded, one of accusation, betrayal and retribution. Gong Tianping, still cloaked in grief for his fallen son Gong Luyun, found his gates stormed not by enemies but by truth. A grieving woman's cry shattered the silence, revealing a secret long buried. Lin Ran's corpse, mutilated and branded, hanging as proof of a sin that would ignite the wrath of the Qilin prince's mansion. What followed was not judgment but extermination. And above it all, unseen by the slaughter below, Chu Feng stood watching, calm, resolute, as vengeance for his father was finally carved into the fate of the Gong family. But when blood debts are settled so cleanly, what storm gathers next in the shadows? On that day, as banners fluttered beneath a restless sky, fate quietly tightened its grip, and blood debts, long buried, began to surface. The Azure Dragon School's grand promotion assembly unfolded exactly as planned. From every direction, powerful factions and wandering cultivators arrived in waves. Some had lingered nearby for days, while others rushed over the moment the news reached their ears. They came with gifts, with smiles, with flattery, all to congratulate the rising force that was the Azure Dragon School. But the moment they reached the gates, their expressions changed. Standing there, greeting every guest, were not ordinary disciples, but golden-armoured guards from the Qilin prince's mansion. The sight alone sent a chill through the crowd. These were not men meant to stand at gates like attendants. They were warriors, symbols of authority, pride and dominance. And yet, here they were, acting like humble guards. Whispers spread like wildfire. Soon the truth surfaced. These warriors had been ordered here by Chu Feng himself, as punishment for offending a single person, Chu Feng. The name struck like thunder in the hearts of those present. And when they learned that Chu Feng had formed a brotherly bond with Chu Feng, a figure whose power and status towered above countless others, shock turned into disbelief. It was too absurd, too unimaginable. Yet it was real. Add to that the miracle everyone had heard about, a young man at the 7th level of the Origin Realm defeating Gong Luyun, a cultivator in the 4th level of the Profound Realm. Suddenly, Chu Feng was no longer just a name. He became a legend, a mystery, a storm no one could fully comprehend. More and more people longed to see him with their own eyes. They wanted to witness the bearing of this peerless genius. But no matter how long they waited, Chu Feng never appeared. On such an important day, he remained hidden. Only one rumor circulated. He had secluded himself for cultivation. And while the celebration thrived in one place, elsewhere darkness quietly gathered. Far away in Black Tortoise City, Gong Tianping had already returned. But the man who once stood tall now lived in silence, drowning in grief. His son was dead. The pain carved deep into his bones. He shut himself away, refusing all visitors. Yet peace would not be granted to him. Because one day a powerful delegation from the Qilin prince's mansion arrived, leading a massive army. Faced with such pressure, Gong Tianping had no choice but to step forward. Inside the guest hall, tension hung thick in the air. What? Lord Lin Ran has not returned yet? Gong Tianping's voice trembled, his face pale. That shouldn't be possible. Judging by the distance, he should have already arrived. Across from him, several elderly men from the Lin clan sat in silence. Each one radiated immense strength, all standing at the 7th level of the Profound Realm, but their auras were sharper, heavier, far surpassing Gong Tianping's own. They were pillars of the Lin clan, and their expressions were grim. That is precisely why we are here, one of them said slowly. We suspect something may have happened along the way. The others who went to the Azure Dragon School are being restrained by Chu Feng. We cannot gather information. So we came to you to understand what truly occurred. Gong Tianping hesitated, then spoke cautiously. That day, Chu Feng severely injured Lord Lin Ran. And given his close ties with Chu Feng, is it possible he released Lord Lin Ran only to secretly capture him again? The elders exchanged glances. Then they shook their heads. No. Chu Feng may act recklessly, but he is open and upright. He is loyal to the prince's mansion. Even if he opposes our Lin clan, he would never kill one of our own. This was not his doing. Before the conversation could continue, a commotion erupted outside. "Let me in! Let me in! Milady, please, stop!" The doors burst open with a violent crash. A woman stumbled inside. Her face was pale, soaked in tears, her body trembling uncontrollably. It was Gong Tianping's wife, Gong Luyun's mother. "What are you doing?" Gong Tianping roared, leaping to his feet. "I am receiving honored guests. Get out immediately." Normally, she would have collapsed in fear under his anger, but today she was different. Her eyes burned with grief and fury. Her trembling hand rose, pointing straight at him. "Gong Tianping, you heartless monster." Her voice cracked, yet every word struck like a blade. "Even if Luyun was not born from you, did you have to kill him so cruelly? He called you father for 20 years. In his heart, you were his father. And Lord Lin Ran, even if he is Luyun's real father, our bond existed before I ever met you." Her voice broke completely. "But you killed him. And not just killed, you tortured him, turned him into something beyond recognition. Are you even human? Or are you a demon?" Her cries echoed through the hall like thunder. Gong Tianping's mind went blank. Without thinking, he rushed forward. A brutal slap landed across her face. Her body flew through the air, crashing dozens of meters away. But she did not stop. She crawled up again, laughing through tears. "Hit me! Kill me! Luyun is gone. I no longer wish to live. But before I die, I will drag you down with me." Then, turning toward the elders, she cried out, "My lords, Lord Lin Ran has already been killed by this madman. His body is in Gong Tianping's own room." The hall froze. The elders' expressions darkened instantly. Without hesitation, they followed her. Gong Tianping panicked. "My lords, do not listen to her madness. She has lost her mind after our son's death. She does not speak the truth." But no one listened. Under the woman's lead, they arrived at Gong Tianping's chamber. The door creaked open, and in that instant, everyone froze. Inside the room, a body hung suspended in the air. Naked, broken, its limbs were gone, hands and feet severed. Even its manhood had been cut away. The corpse was incomplete, mutilated beyond recognition. Yet the face remained intact. It was Lin Ran, but his eyes were gouged out, his tongue had been ripped from his mouth, and hanging from his neck was a wooden sign. On it, a single word burned like a curse. "Adulterer." The woman collapsed, wailing in despair. "Gong Tianping, look at what you've done. Even if Luyun was born from me and him, you didn't have to do this. You are too cruel, too heartless." Gong Tianping fell to his knees with a thud, his mind shattered. This, he could not even form words. But the elders, their fury exploded. "Gong Tianping, the Qilin prince's mansion raised your Gong family to greatness, and you dare repay us by murdering Lord Lin Ran for your petty grudges." One elder pointed at him, roaring with rage. Another stormed out, shouting orders. "Men, surround the Gong family. Kill them all. Leave not a single dog or chicken alive." The third elder said nothing. He simply stepped forward. His palm rose and slammed down onto Gong Tianping's head. Blood burst from all 7 orifices. Yet even as Gong Tianping died, the elder's voice trembled with hatred. "If I do not tear your corpse into pieces, how can I face Lord Lin Ran in the afterlife?" Outside, the Qilin army erupted. Their rage surged to the heavens. Steel flashed. Cries of terror filled the air. The Gong family was plunged into absolute despair. One by one, they were slaughtered. No mercy. No survivors. Their lineage erased from Azure province. And high above it all, on the peak of a distant palace, a lone figure stood silently, Chu Feng. He watched everything, the flames, the screams, the annihilation. Yet, not a trace of pity crossed his face. His gaze lifted slowly toward the sky. A quiet sorrow flickered in his eyes. Then in a low voice he spoke, "Father, those who wronged you have paid the price. You may now rest in peace." And with that, the wind carried his words into the endless heavens, on a day when celebration was meant to echo across the land. Blood debts silently reached their end. The Azure Dragon School's grand promotion assembly unfolded exactly as planned. Banners fluttered, guests arrived in waves. From distant regions and nearby territories alike, powerful figures gathered, each bearing gifts and congratulations. Yet the moment they stepped into the welcoming grounds, their expressions froze. Standing guard were not ordinary disciples, no. They were soldiers clad in radiant golden armor. Elite guards from the Qilin prince's mansion. A chill swept through the visiting crowd. Why would such figures stand here as attendants? Whispers spread like wildfire, and soon the truth surfaced. These proud guards had been ordered here, not out of duty to the school, but as punishment. They had offended Chu Feng. That single revelation struck harder than thunder. Chu Feng had become sworn brothers with Lord Qi Fengyang, an unimaginable connection, an unbelievable rise. And when people recalled the miracle that had already shaken Azure Province, a youth at the 7th level of the Origin Realm defeating Gong Luyun, a genius at the 4th level of the Profound Realm, their awe only deepened. To them, Chu Feng was no longer just a prodigy. He was a mystery wrapped in legend. Naturally, countless eyes longed to witness him in person, to see what kind of presence such a monstrous genius carried, but fate denied them. On the very day of the Grand Assembly, Chu Feng never appeared. No one knew where he had gone. Only whispers remained that he had entered seclusion to cultivate. And so admiration turned into quiet speculation. Yet far from the celebration, darkness was already brewing elsewhere. In the distant Black Tortoise City, Gong Tianping had returned. The once powerful patriarch now bore the crushing grief of losing his son. He shut himself away, refusing all visitors, letting sorrow fester in silence. But peace would not be granted. A massive force arrived at his gates. Figures from the Qilin prince's mansion, led by elders of the Lin clan. Their presence alone was enough to shake the city. Gong Tianping had no choice but to step out and receive them. Inside the guest hall, tension filled the air like an invisible blade. "What did you say?" One of the elders spoke, his voice heavy with concern. "Lord Lin Ran has not returned?" Gong Tianping's face stiffened. A trace of unease flickered in his eyes. "That shouldn't be possible," he muttered. Judging by the distance, he should have already arrived. The elders exchanged glances. "That is precisely why we are here," another elder said slowly. "We fear something may have happened on the road. The Lin clan members at the Azure Dragon School are under Qi Fengyang's pressure. We cannot obtain clear information, so we came to you. Their cultivation, all at the 7th level of the Profound Realm, and yet their auras were sharper, deeper. Far beyond Gong Tianping's own, they were pillars of the Lin clan. My lords," Gong Tianping hesitated, then spoke. "That day Qi Fengyang severely injured Lord Lin Ran, and his relationship with Chu Feng is unusual. Could it be that he released Lord Lin Ran, only to secretly imprison him again?" The elders immediately shook their heads. "No," one replied firmly. "Qi Fengyang may act wildly, but he is upright. He would never harm someone from the prince's mansion. This was not his doing." Just as the words settled, chaos erupted outside. "Let me in! Let me in!" The shouts of guards followed. "Milady, please wait!" But the doors burst open with a violent crash. A woman stumbled in. Her face was pale, tears streamed endlessly. Her entire body trembled like a leaf in a storm. It was Gong Tianping's wife, Gong Luyun's mother. Gong Tianping's expression darkened instantly. "Have you lost your senses?" he roared. "Do you not see I am receiving guests? Get out!" But today she did not retreat. No fear remained in her eyes. Instead, hatred burned within them. Her trembling hand rose, pointing straight at him. "Gong Tianping," her voice cracked, yet each word carried unbearable weight. "You are truly heartless. Even if Luyun was not born from us, did he deserve to die like that? For 20 years he called you father. In his heart, you were his father." Her voice broke further. "And Lord Lin Ran, so what if he was Luyun's true father? We knew each other before I ever met you. This was never betrayal, never shame. But you killed him. And not just killed, you tortured him until he became something less than human." Her entire body shook violently. "Are you even human?" she cried. "Or are you a demon?" Silence fell. Gong Tianping's mind went blank. What nonsense are you spewing?" He snapped, rage exploding. He strode forward and struck her across the face. The force sent her flying dozens of meters away, but even as she fell, she laughed through tears. "Hit me," she screamed. "Kill me if you wish. My son is gone. I have no reason to live. But before I die, I will drag you down with me, you mad demon." She turned, her voice echoing through the hall. "Me lords, Lord Lin Ran is already dead. He was killed by Gong Tianping. His corpse is in Gong Tianping's room." The elders' expressions instantly tightened. Without hesitation, they followed her. Gong Tianping panicked. "My lords, do not believe her," he hurriedly explained. "She has lost her mind from grief. She speaks nonsense." But no one listened. Under her lead, They reached Gong Tianping's residence. The door creaked open, and in the next moment, every single person froze. Inside the room hung a body. Naked, broken, its limbs gone, its dignity erased, even its manhood severed. Yet the face remained. It was Lin Ran, but his eyes had been gouged out, his tongue cut away. Around his neck hung a sign, a single word burned upon it: adulterer. The woman collapsed into cries once more. "Look," she wailed. "Look at what you've done. Even if Luyun was born from us, did you have to do this? You are too cruel, too cruel." Gong Tianping's legs gave out. He fell to his knees. This. His mind shattered under the sight. Rage erupted from the elders. "Gong Tianping," one roared, "our prince's mansion nurtured your family, and this is how you repay us?" Another elder stormed outside, his voice shaking the heavens. "Men, surround the Gong family. Kill them all. Not a single one shall remain, not even their dogs or chickens." And the third elder. He wasted no words. His palm descended. It struck Gong Tianping's skull with devastating force. Blood burst from all 7 orifices. Yet even as he collapsed, the elder's voice thundered with fury. "If I do not tear your corpse apart, how can I face Lord Lin Ran in the afterlife?" Moments later, the Qilin army descended, their fury unstoppable. Blades flashed, cries filled the sky. The Gong family, once powerful, was reduced to a slaughterhouse. Lives were extinguished one after another. Blood flowed through the streets of Black Tortoise City. And just like that, the Gong family was erased from Azure province. Yet above the chaos, on the peak of a palace roof, a lone figure stood silently. It was Chu Feng. His eyes gazed down at the massacre, cold, unmoved. Not a trace of pity crossed his face. Instead, he lifted his gaze toward the endless sky. His voice was soft, yet carried a deep, lingering sorrow. "Father, the ones who wronged you have paid their price. You may now rest in peace." And with that, the wind swept across the blood-stained city, carrying away the echoes of vengeance fulfilled.